Hey guys, Haddy the creator here. Have you ever wanted to make a little booklet, something like this? This is 16 pages and you don't know how? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how I put together this little booklet and show you how you can make one too. Whether you want to show off some comics or some drawings or make a coloring book like I did here. I'm going to show you how I put this together from start to finish. So the first thing I had to do was design each page out in Photoshop, and I did this by putting the text where I wanted it and kind of placing the images within an area where I could have some bleed around it and make sure everything was in a safe area so nothing got cut out. So once I designed all 16 pages of my book with different monsters that I wanted to put in there for people to color, I then went into Adobe InDesign. I did that so the whole book was in one PDF file compiled together so that when I went to print it, it was all together nicely and I could easily print it. Just make sure your image size is set to the size that you want your booklet to be, and then when you go into InDesign, set up your pages to be the same size so that the images will easily just drop into place and fit right onto your pages. Also, turning on your rulers in Photoshop is a good idea to help you kind of plan out your page and make sure you don't put anything too close to the edge. You can drag and drop some guides onto the page to help you. I'm lucky enough to have a friend that has a print shop and had a bunch of fun tools that I got to use that I'll show you in a second. But even if you don't have access to something like that, if you just have a printer and a paper cutter and a stapler, you can do the same thing at home. If you're printing front and back at home, that might be a little tricky unless your printer has the function in it already. But with some trial and error and some test pages, I'm sure you can get it figured out. Because my booklet is longer than a normal piece of paper, each page is like this, I had to use bigger sheets of paper and cut them down. I use this huge industrial hydraulic cutter. This is really overkill for a booklet this size, or at least with as few pages as I'm doing. If I were gonna print like 100 of these booklets, I can cut basically all of the sheets for those all at the same time with this thing. But it does do really precise and straight cuts. You can accomplish the same thing with the paper cutter at home, or if you're really careful, you could use a ruler and something sharp like an X-Acto knife to cut out these straight lines. But just listen to this thing. This machine is a beast. The next step was probably the most tedious in the whole process, which was folding each sheet of paper in half. I use this plastic guide tool called the Bone to fold these all in half. Basically, it's just this little rectangular shaped piece of plastic with really rounded soft corners so you don't put any harsh creases in your paper, and it just helps you get the lines nice and straight. You just match up the corners on each side and fold it down. Of course, you don't need this little plastic tool. You can use anything similar to that. You could probably even use like a spoon or something if you wanted. Then after all the sheets of paper are folded in half, I had to put the booklets together in the order that I wanted the pages in and make sure I had everything organized and just placed together and get ready for stapling. Again, I was spoiled at the tools that I had at my own disposal. I gotta use this little industrial stapler. It has a little pedal that you step on with your foot when you are ready to place a staple in, and it has a nice metal shelf in there that the folded pages just slide right onto. I could easily align the paper where I wanted the staples to go and push the pedal, and wham bam, it was done. After stapling, there were a few pages that weren't aligned in there right, or that were cut a little bit wide. And also whenever there's inserts, some of the pages will extrude out further at the end of the book just because they are folded inside of the original size paper. So it's a good idea to get a paper cutter afterwards and just clean up the edges all around the book. So in those few steps, I made up about 10 books in about an hour and a half. A lot of that was trial and error, so if I was to do it again, hopefully it would go a lot quicker. I'm gonna go ahead and add these up in my Etsy shop if you want to purchase one of these little guys. I'll put it up for $5 and then I'll add a couple of random stickers. Also, I want to thank my patrons who support me on a monthly basis, and to show my patrons I really do appreciate them, I'm going to mail each of them one of these little coloring books. Even the $1 tier guys, I really appreciate all of you, and I appreciate your faith in me and your investment as I invest in my channel and get better and put out better quality content and learn this whole YouTube game, because it is tricky. It's a tricky game, this game. Like playing chess with a bot. You never win. Well, this has been Haddy the Creator. Remember, you too are a creator. Keep on creating, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Take care.